Okay, thank you all for joining us for today's Career Path series on work-life balance with Lucy Castro, a sales manager at Esri. We are excited to have her back with us. Lucy, please go ahead.
Hi, thank you, Molly. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for having me here with you today to share a little bit more about work-life balance. My name is Lucy Castro. I'm a sales manager at Esri, which I'll share more about my company here in a few minutes. But a little bit about me. I grew up in Pennsylvania, joined the Marine Corps to escape Pennsylvania life, found a really exciting, rewarding career many moons later here at Esri as a sales manager. And I've been here for about 6.5 years now. And I really like it here because it allows me to fulfill, like I have a sense of purpose, helping organizations all throughout the globe really, excuse me just a second, I've lost my train of thought here. All these screens, I'm so sorry. It gives me a sense of purpose and excitement because I'm here able to help customers across all of the United States find solutions for some of the most complex problems and issues that the world faces using GIS, which is Geographic Information Systems. I've been here for 6.5 years on the inside sales team at various capacities, starting off as an inside sales representative, then moving into a team lead role, and for the last 2 years as a sales manager. And I really love the people that I work with and what I do, but I also need to make sure that I have a work-life balance because I also have 2 daughters, 2 fur babies that I didn't ask to adopt. My daughter talked us into a cat and a dog, a husband that I like to spend time with, and I also need to make sure that I'm taking care of myself. And so I wanted to spend some time with you all today talking about work-life balance. Work-life balance is an extremely important thing to be cognizant of when you're working because it allows you to balance your work and your life and the things that you like to do. And it also provides you with positive mental health. And the benefits are just really good. And it's something that constantly changes. And I hope today, after our time together, that you'll walk away with some tools that I've shared with you.
Just 1 minute. I cannot hear you that well either. Just a minute. I'm sorry.
Are we good?
Who is that? Did somebody? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute everyone. If you have any questions, please feel free to put those in the chat. Thank you. Please go ahead, Lucy.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you. So I'm excited to be here with you today to discuss the importance of work-life balance. And at the end of our time together today, I hope that you walk away either revisiting the things that you have in place today to make sure that you have work-life balance or walk away with a new plan. I've created an agenda for our time together today, so let's go ahead and share that now. I'm going to introduce you to my company, Esri. I'm going to talk about work-life balance, the definition of what it is and what I think it is, how I incorporate work-life balance, some of the things that you can do to incorporate work-life balance, provide you with next steps, and of course, references and resources. All right, so give me just a second here, drive in my slides. All right, so a little bit about the company that I work for and why I love being here so much. Esri, which stands for Environmental Systems Research Institute, was founded in 1969 by Jack and Laura Dangerman. And what we do is we make the world's most powerful GIS software, and we help solve the world's most complex problems by helping customers embrace a geographic approach. And if for those of you who don't know what GIS is and more about that, everything that we do when we talk about geographic approach, everything that we do has location assigned to it. So an example of this is if I was a restaurant owner and I wanted to map out all my restaurants to understand where they're located, how I can get resources and supplies to them, and how I can market to different customers, I would take an Excel spreadsheet of data and then I would upload that into our software, ArcGIS, and I would be able to visualize where all my restaurants were located to then make a quicker decision spatially on where things are located. So it really helps streamline those processes in organizations across the globe. There's a really nice quote here that I wanted to share with you. It says, if Facebook is the who and Google is the what, then Esri is the where. This really resonates with me because it's hard to explain what GIS is to someone who doesn't know. And so I think this is a really easy, fundamental way of explaining what it is. It's all about location. All right, so I'm going to move over now and tell you a little bit about what my company does. and to make sure that employees are embracing work-life balance, and also what's being shared on Glassdoor to recruit new talent into the organization. And so this verbatim comes off Glassdoor. So working at Esri is more than just a job. It's where you pursue your passion to do work that makes the world a better place. Our goal is to help you do what you do best at work and at home, from comprehensive health coverage, profit sharing, and 401k accounts to lifestyle perks. Our benefits package is as rewarding as your career. Take a look at the different ways that Esri supports you. And so you can see here what's some of the great benefits so that you don't have to worry about your health. Esri is a great place to work because they pay for your health premiums. You get paid time off. You get benefits for planning for retirement, so 401k and profit sharing. There's growth. There's continued growth as an individual, career path development, work-life balance. I have a flexible schedule so that I can decide if I need to go to my kid's doctor's appointment or soccer game. I can work a little less during the day, make it up at night, or work a longer day the next day. So I have some flexibility, which is really nice. And then wellness. We have a lot of resources to make sure that we are physically and mentally healthy and well, to make sure that we can come in every day and do what we do. And I wanted to share some of these quotes with you that came from Glassdoor, because it's important to understand what employees are saying. And so I also want to kind of back up a bit. So you may find yourself in an organization where you're extremely excited to be there. The mission, the vision, everything aligns to what you're doing. You're completely engaged, and that's great. But that doesn't happen for everyone. So if you're in the job market looking for a new job, it's kind of why I put this here. Make sure that you're taking a look at things like Glassdoor, and I'm going to share Comparably here in a second, to understand what people are saying about work-life balance in the company as a whole, also in the department in which you're joining. When I took a look at my company, for example, on Comparably and Glassdoor, I noticed that there was differing opinions on work-life balance and other things within the culture based upon the department in which those people were giving those reviews. So if you're looking for a new role, these are really important things to look at as well. And so here, the first quote is, "It's important to prioritize your own work-life balance," which I completely agree with. And I'm going to share with you more in a moment on my stance on this and how I incorporate this. The next person says, "Solid pay and decent flexibility in a hybrid work environment. Offers great work-life balance with ample opportunities for learning and personal development. And the management is willing to listen to staff requests and make the adjustment accordingly." So all of these are positive reviews based upon Glassdoor reviews, and it's just a really good insight into how the company supports the work-life balance. And the next thing I wanted to share with you is that this year, Esri actually won 6 awards from Comparably. Comparably is a website that helps bring insights and data around workplace culture, compensation, and just company reviews to help create a more transparent way for individuals who are looking for career path growth and advancement to make decisions on moving into the next company. The one that I highlighted here, of course, is work-life balance. We received the award of work-life balance out of, I think it was the top 100 companies. And I wanted to go over these a little bit with you. So of the 6 awards, Esri won the Best Company Work-Life Balance, Best Company Perks and Benefits, Best Company Compensation, Best CEOs for Diversity, and Best CEOs for Women, and Best Company Outlook. This is based upon over 5,400 ratings and 273 participants. Employees at Esri are very satisfied with their work experience, and the overall company score is an 84 out of 100, which ranks as an A+ on this website. It incorporates employee ratings based upon their feedback and on the team, leadership, office culture, and more. So this is also a great tool to make decisions if you're deciding to looking further into your own company, or even looking to move into a different company. Okay, just looking to see if we have any questions in the chat. We're good there. So now I'd like to transition over to the definition of work-life balance. So work-life balance, by definition, is the division of one's time and focus between working and family or leisure activities. Now, in a previous role, I was a salaried employee, and I oftentimes would work from 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. because that's what was being asked of me, and I did it, but I was not happy. I was disgruntled. I was a new mom. I went to school full time. It was really hard to balance this, and I felt super overwhelmed and stressed a lot of the time. And I think that some of the tools that I'm going to share with you today, and especially the things that I've learned now in my role, you have to create boundaries. You have to know how to say no. is it Lisa? Liza? You're asking what company is this? I work at Esri. And the company that I worked at before is no longer a company. It's called Lionsgate Financial Network. It was a startup company a long time ago that I worked at, but I don't think they exist any longer.
Oh, thank you. I wasn't
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah, no, it was a real estate training company, and it was a startup company, and it was at the height of the real estate owned property boom, and so the company really was striving to help real estate agents learn how to sell REOs, and resell those because the market had changed so much. So we had a certification program, but I oftentimes was staying late printing binders to give out to the people that paid for membership to this organization. Good experience, but really long hours. So I used to think the same thing that, so I used to think that work-life balance was supposed to be 50-50, but I realized that for me, it really just changes based upon what's happening at work and also at home. An example of this would be maybe there's times when I need to be at work more because at the end of every year, we look ahead to set goals, to do our sales launch, to understand what our sales objectives are, and we plan for that. So we have to pull metrics and information and craft goals. So I might have to work a few more hours to make sure that I'm ready to present to the team and roll that out. If I need to be at home for doctor's appointments or soccer practice, or even just to be there when family's out of town visiting, I know that I might need to work less hours. So it ebbs and flows, and it's something that you don't just turn on, and it's the same every single day. So my definition of work-life balance, after going through a few rounds of jobs and being here, even in different roles, it's really two parts: company culture and how I respond to that culture. It's ultimately my responsibility to balance my life. So Esri provides a ton of great tools for me to have work-life balance, but if I'm not leveraging them properly, then I'm not going to feel comfortable. If I'm not taking vacation, if I'm not, maybe taking a 3 or 4 day weekend here or there, or I'm not available with my family, it's ultimately my responsibility to make sure this is balanced. All right, so now when we look at our individual responsibility, I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I do to kind of nurture my thought process, my thinking, how I've gotten to the place where I'm at now. So as a framework for my personal and professional development and growth, I incorporate reading books, kind of like self-help books. I've read Robin Sharma's 5 a.m. Club, which has a really great formula in there for being productive and efficient and really just mastering your craft and skills. I've read Think Like a Monk by Jay Shetty, which made me realize there's a phrase in there: do you have the monk mind or a monkey mind? The monkey mind is very reactive and not very thought process. Like, you're not thinking about what you're doing, you're just reacting. And I would say that I definitely had a version of Lucy throughout my entire journey until I got here that was definitely a monkey-minded version of Lucy. But I think that, after I read that book, it impacted me so deeply that I started to take a little bit more time to be more mindful about how I'm spending my time, what I'm doing, what I want to educate myself on at work, at home. And it's been really productive. I also like to listen to podcasts and read books by a woman by the name of Mel Robbins, just a lot of self-love and confidence building, because this helps me hold boundaries and maintain a positive work-life balance. And so the other stuff that I do just really helps me do more time management and help incorporating that work-life balance. I also take training at work as well. The last one I took was Crucial Conversations for Accountability, and this allows me to have difficult conversations. So some of the things that I'm going to share with you in the next slides are about holding boundaries, being able to say no, and those are hard things to do. I just had a team member come in and tell me that somebody from a different department sent them something that was actually the customer service's responsibility, but he's like, I can't say no. I was like, yes, you can. This isn't your job. So holding boundaries is really important. And then, yeah, so you may also have some of these things in your, that you do as well. You may have authors like this that you look at and you read, and that are your indirect mentors, or you have direct mentors that help you with this. And I would say that you can't do this alone. My boss, I admire her. She has 2 young children as well. She's involved in different committees and boards. She's a director in our organization, and I oftentimes ask her how she manages and balances things. And so getting that insight from her has also helped me as well. Okay, so I wanted to share with you a little bit about what I think is important when it comes to work-life balance, and that's mindset. Mindset, in the per Robin Sharma in the 5 a.m. Club, it's the development of a positive and growth-oriented mindset. So according to Sharma, your mindset shapes your thoughts, beliefs, and attitudes. Cultivating a mindset of resilience, optimism, and continuous learning is crucial for achieving success. And so I would say that this is probably one of the things that I would say is like have an open mindset. I used to have a mindset where I thought at that last job that I was working all those hours, I didn't have the power to change what was happening. I just had to show up and be there those long hours. I absolutely did have the power. I just didn't have my voice at that time. Okay, so let's go ahead now and transition over to some of the things that you can do to balance your life. I mentioned setting boundaries. So setting boundaries could look like I'm going to do my work between the hours of 8 to 5 typically, which is what I try to do. And if I have wiggle room in there, then, you know, if I need flexibility some days for doctor's appointments or things like that, then I can work maybe an hour or two on Saturday. But not every job offers that flexibility. You may be in a role where you have to work 8 from 5, and those are your core hours, and there's no flexibility. So how do you leverage things like your sick and your vacation and your other pay that you have to incorporate a little bit of wiggle room into your day-to-day? Prioritizing self-care. I think this is really important. And I think that this is a non-negotiable. And that's one of the next steps that I share with you. Like this has to be a non-negotiable because in order for you to fill up all the things that you do and every day, your own cup has to be full, whether that's taking a walk, whether that's doing yoga, reading a book, watching TV, just something that you enjoy doing. If you're not taking care of yourself, then it's going to be really hard for you to perform in all the ways that life calls to each and every one of us. Planning your schedule. One thing that I do at work is I block work focus time out so that I can actually do my work. Because when I first became a team lead here, I didn't do that. And I very quickly learned that if I didn't do that, my calendar would be full of meetings that I didn't even know why I had so many meetings, and I had meeting fatigue. And working from home during COVID, I had virtual meeting fatigue, which is definitely a thing. So blocking out your calendar. There's even more focused ways to block out your calendar. So you can say from this time to this time, I'm going to work on this document. And then from this time to this time, I'm going to work on this email. So you can be very granular, or you can just be very high level. Setting realistic goals. I think this is really important both at work and at home. So here at Esri, we set SMART goals. They're specific, measurable, achievable, and realistic, and time-bound. Yes, Kirsten, time blocking is awesome. So SMART goals. SMART goals are a great way to make sure that what you're writing is actually something that you can achieve and there's time bound to it. Otherwise, it's just a hope and a dream. So when we craft our goals for our team members, we make sure that they align to the core functions of the role and that they're achievable. They're not something astronomically crazy and too lofty than the last year. I do the same thing at home, from anything from a financial goal to a vacation goal to a health and fitness goal, whatever it is that I'm trying to accomplish. I say I want to do this many times by this date, and that helps keep me on track. Delegate and collaborate. If you're able to delegate work to others, please do that, because myself, I'm guilty of this. If a project comes up, I don't want to bother the team. I'll just do it, and then I end up with a list this long of things I have to do. It's not humanly possible to do all the work, and other people might want to have other projects and work to stretch themselves and grow and be engaged in your company in a different way. So don't be scared to delegate. Collaborate too. Sometimes collaborating will help you get your ideas and thoughts flowing to get things done a little faster. It doesn't have to sit all on your shoulders. Limiting screen time is really important. From a personal standpoint, limiting phone time on your phone, it's easy to get sucked into, I don't know, TikToks or Reels, and then now you're down, I call it the rabbit hole. You're in the rabbit hole, you're on the phone for an hour, and now you just wasted a whole hour of time looking at stuff that's, I mean, it's funny, I watch it, but it doesn't put any value into your cup when you could have read a book or a podcast or gone for a walk. So like, what are the things that you're doing to make improvements moving forward? Taking regular breaks. This is really important. Get up from your desk, walk outside, connect with nature, eat your lunch away from your desk. Those types of things really help balance things out, because otherwise it feels like you're working all day, every day. I recently read an article about Elon Musk. It sounds like he just works all the time. He does block scheduling too, but it just sounds like the guy works from the time he wakes up until he goes to bed. So I don't know how he does it. Learn to say no. I think this is really important. So a long time ago in that previous role, if I would have said no, I would have been a happier, healthier version of Lucy. But instead, I put up with it and I dealt with it. And in my today version of Lucy, I can say no, especially if I have a prior commitment with my family, or if it's not something that's time bound that needs to get done right now. I ask those questions. Is this urgent? Does this project need to be done now? What is the timeline for this? So that I can understand what time frame I'm working with, so then I can prioritize what's being asked of me.
Lucy, do you get any pushback from your work when you practice saying no to things?
Not usually. I would say the only time, no, I usually don't. But I would say if it's a customer related issue, like it just needs to get taken care of, so someone needs to do it, customers come first. So in those instances, I know that nothing else matters, to focus on whatever's going on with the customer to take care of that. But when it comes to projects and things, and I say, hey, let me ask this question, or you know what, I can't do it Friday, can I do it next Tuesday? Or maybe we can ask somebody else to do the project. My boss has been great in helping me juggle and make sure that we're prioritizing things. So I don't get much pushback.
That's great. It's really nice when your supervisor really supports you with the work-life balance. That's super important.
Absolutely. And then staying organized. I think this is really important too. I think that if you work like I do out of your email and other software systems, it's very easy to get lost in all of that. So I have color coding in my Outlook calendar. I use a couple of other tools that I'll share with you here in a minute. But seeking support is another thing. So like I said, talking with my boss is really helpful, asking for her input on how she juggles things, balances things. If I'm having a particularly tough day and I'm booked back to back in meetings, it happens sometimes. I'll say, hey, look, what's priority here? Help me prioritize. What can I drop? Can you go to this? And I won't go, and then let me know, fill me in. And so just being able to say those things really does help. And then you'll have to evaluate and adjust this from time to time because things change. And then setting boundaries with technology. This specifically goes around, like if you have a work phone or your email, don't look at those things after a certain time. It's okay to turn it off. The work will be there. I think that in my current role, a lot of our inside sales reps want to get their stuff done. They're very customer focused, and some of them work overtime and they get stressed out about taking time off because our inboxes fill up pretty quickly. We're very busy with our customers. But I say this phrase a lot. It's okay, take time off. The work will be here when you get back, and we have a whole team to support you while you're out. So I would say the sooner you can set boundaries and understand that whatever you have in front of you, have a backup plan. It's okay to turn things off for a while. It's okay to walk away. You need to take care of yourself. It goes back to that prioritizing self-care. So these are some ways that you can balance. And I wanted to share with you a little bit about how I balance. I think I kind of did that through here, but more fun, more pictures. So this is how I balance. When I look at my life and I compartmentalize things, there's 4 parts: self-care, family, work, and community. For my self-care, I like to get up early. The 5 a.m. club book, I wanted to reference that. I haven't been able to get up at 5 a.m. for a while and like get out and run. There's a great formula in there. I'm more of a 6 a.m. club. So I wake up, I want to make sure that I have good rest too. I think proper rest is also a part of self-care. So if I've gone to bed a little later the night before, I want to make sure I'm rested. So I get up, I try to run for 10, 15 minutes, do yoga through Apple Fitness Plus in the comfort of my own home. I listen to podcasts while I'm making breakfast or lunch for my daughter before she goes to school. So that way I'm filling my cup with knowledge and things to do to grow. When I have time, I like to read and journal. I like to have time alone so that I can just kind of sit in my own thoughts. And I also really love to watch TV and movies. I love Netflix. That's my go-to. So I typically find a good show and watch it. When I'm not at work, I prioritize my family, of course. So I have a 18-year-old daughter who just graduated from high school and an 8-year-old daughter who's in 3rd grade. We also have 2 fur babies, a cat and a dog. My oldest daughter talked us into both animals, but now they are my priority. So I take care of those animals as well. But I help out with my youngest daughter in school and homework and making sure that we spend quality time. Every Friday, I try to. I miss it sometimes, but we have family fun night. Family fun night is something to look forward to because we've all worked hard. My little one has gone to school. She's done her homework. She's done her spelling test, and she gets to pick out a movie or a board game and like what to eat. And it's just the night that we hang out and just try to kick back and relax. Family vacations are also really important to us. We try to make sure we go somewhere at least once a year together, whether it's a staycation or a vacation away somewhere nice. We try to unplug as a family, disconnect, and just be together. Concerts are something my husband and I like to do together. We're actually going to a concert this weekend together. So we try to do one of those at least once a year. And then when I move over to my work, I spend a lot of time at work. I think a lot of us do. The core part of our days are 8 to 5, maybe earlier, later. So most days I work from 8 to 5, but if I have appointments or prior commitments, then what I do is I work from 8 to 2, and then I leave and go do what I need to do. And then I'll log in later when my daughter's in bed for an hour to check emails or do something, or I'll log a couple of hours on the weekend, or I'll use comp time. I'll use my sick time or my vacation time to fill in those hours. So I make sure that I balance those things out. And I think the biggest thing that I faced, and I think a lot of people face, is like I feel guilty stepping away and not being at work all the time or having someone back me up. I would say if you can stop feeling that way, the work will be there. And when you get back, you can just get back at it and do it, but you need to take care of yourself. I also think that having one-on-one connects with your direct reports or people that you work closely with, if you don't directly manage people, is really important. And having positive relationships at work makes work-life balance that much better. If you don't have such good relationships at work, it's hard to want to be there. I think it's really important to have those positive relationships with the people you work with. I really love the team that I have and I work with, and they're great. So it makes coming here that much easier. Team building activities are also really fun. So we try to do those in our team meetings, trying to give positive reinforcement and kudos to the team, I think is really important. And then making sure we're prioritizing work, because oftentimes a lot of work projects will happen and no timeline is set in place, which happens a lot on my team. It's like, hey, I want to do this. Okay, but what's the due date? Oh, whenever it gets done. So we've learned to start to set due dates for ourselves if there's no due date, because prioritization of work is really important as well. And then I would say, as an individual contributor at work, it's my responsibility to show up every day and be engaged and continue learning. Because if I'm not engaged and I'm not continuously learning, I'm gonna get disenchanted, I might disengage, I'm not going to be productive. So these things fall under my work bucket. When it comes to community, I think time with friends is really important. And whether it's a big group of friends or a small group of friends, I'm more of a small group of friends kind of person. So, you know, a couple people at a time, going out to dinner, whatever that is for you to unwind and relax. LinkedIn is a way that I also connect with community. So I have my LinkedIn there. I share a lot of stuff that's going on with my organization. It's something that I'm really passionate about. And then webinars like this, connecting with all of you to share with you what I've learned and hopefully hear back, you know, from you as well, the things that you've learned. So that way we can compare notes. I think community is really important because that's the way that we learn. So that's a little bit about how I do things. And some of the tools that I use, let me share with you. So for work, I use a couple things. I use my Outlook calendar. I use Outlook email. We use a Microsoft Planner, a OneNote, and a SharePoint. All these things keep me on track for my day-to-day tasks and what I'm doing. At home, I would say that my husband and I have a lot of connects, morning and evening conversations about everything, bills, kids, family functions. We also have a shared calendar. So anytime there's doctor's appointments, soccer games, friend connects, they all go into that calendar. And we also have a group text with my oldest daughter to just make sure that we're communicating on what's going on in the family. So that keeps us connected. And then for myself, I want to say that mindfulness is a tool that I use because I try to calm my brain down by doing yoga and running and connecting with nature and just really being mindful of my day-to-day and being purpose-driven. I used to just react to what was thrown my way. And now I'm like, okay, I sit down every day and I use this paper here and I write down what the day is, what my meetings are, and like what are the top things I have to do every day. I'm still a paper person as well, but I still use my electronic devices. But I write those things down so that I can stay on track. So being purpose driven is really important. And then podcast and music. Podcast to just continue filling my cup and nurturing me so I can grow, and music to let me unwind. When I'm at my desk working, I'm listening to Spotify or Pandora almost daily. So some next steps for you all, if what I would recommend is do a self-assessment, define your boundaries, prioritize your activities that you're doing, set some goals for yourself, learn to say no. Technology management is also really important. So how are you spending your time on your own device? How are you spending time with company devices? Are you plugged into the phone all day long, waiting for an email to come through? And then review and adjust. These things are going to change as your day-to-day changes at work, as your day-to-day changes at home. Seek accountability, work with somebody to make sure that you're holding these things in place, and then practice self-care. I would say more than anything, put that at the top. Self-care is so important. And the one thought that I want to leave you with is work-life balance is a personal journey that must be regularly reassessed to make necessary changes to maintain a healthy work-life balance. So it's not something that you just turn on and walk away and it's always there. And here are some references just to let you know where I got all this cool stuff and ideas. Leveraging your employee benefits. I read the 5 a.m. Club, the Think Like a Monk book I didn't put on here. But there's a really nice podcast that Jay Shetty had for the 6 scientifically proven ways to improve work-life balance and reduce stress. There's 12 takeaways from Think Like a Monk. Oh, I do have it here. Just kidding. By Jay Shetty. And then the 5 strategies for improving work-life balance off of Forbes. All right. So thank you for having me here today to share a little bit about my organization, about work-life balance and what I do. I'd like to open it up to speak with you all and get your feedback and input on what you're doing. Is there something I could be doing differently?
So I'm jumping in ahead of Ernie real quick
No,
because
I've just spent the last 30 minutes telling you how I'm 10 feet tall, bulletproof, and walk on water. Is there anything I'm missing? I mean, come on, Lucy. My goodness.
that's a great presentation, so needed. I actually have kind of a specific question about limiting use of technology. It's so easy to go down the rabbit hole when you're looking at social media, when you're on YouTube. I know, and honestly, with work, I actually need to have my phone with me all the time. We text each other, me and my coworkers and my boss, and so when I get off of work, sometimes I'll like be checking out the socials and all of that. So, are there any specific tips that you have found really helpful in limiting technology, going down that rabbit hole?
There are. I don't need my phone with me in all the meetings. So my role doesn't require me to have my phone. And I just listened to, I think it was a podcast or read an article. I can't remember where I got it from. But like we take our cell phones everywhere. And when you put your cell phone on the table, I read this article, I don't remember where it's from. When you put your cell phone on the table, you're telling the people that are sitting with you that this cell phone's more important than you. And when I read that, I was like, holy smokes, I didn't even think of that. So what I started doing here is I started to leave my phone at my desk when I go to in-person meetings in the different conference rooms, because I don't want people to feel like I'm distracted, because I have personally been in a meeting where I'm talking and someone's doing this. And I'm like, hello? So I want to make sure that I'm being purposeful and intentional with how I'm spending my time. But that might look differently if your job requires you to have your phone with you, because that's the way that you communicate. So then do you put time parameters around it? Do you say from 11 to 12, I'm not picking up this phone. It's my break. I'm taking my lunch. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. I think that like those are very clear boundaries. And then is your start time 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.? Because if it is, then put the phone away and turn off those notifications, because work is now done. So how do you separate those things? Unless you're a person that's on call, that's a whole different topic.
Okay, that's
Yes.
good. I almost feel like I might need to like set a timer for myself. It doesn't happen all the time, but every once in a while I'll get busy and man, an hour goes by like in the blink of an eye. So
It does.
yeah, thank you. Your presentation made me just really start to think about that. So that's great.
Adulting is hard, Molly.
It totally is.
So, Lucy, I have a question. Your thoughts on compare and contrast work-life balance versus work-life integration? Are you familiar with that term, integration versus balance?
I am. I kind of feel like they're the same things in some ways, but they're not. I don't know enough about the topic, but it's like when I think about work-life balance and work-life integration, I feel like it's kind of the same.
Uh, it is very similar. It's a matter of that you're almost never really not at work or you're always at home.
Yeah.
And if you're not careful, everything just becomes a big blur. It's the answering emails on your cell phone or doing work at home after whatever. Time blocking, time chunking just allows you to take the two and put them together, right?
Which is the integration part. So the work-life integration, does that mean that
Yeah,
I'm just always kind of on?
I'm kind of always on, yeah, because the cell phone and honestly, I think, and I'm not trying to disparage, other than I think, okay, back to Molly, I'm picking on Molly, telling her adulting's hard, but Molly and I always have that kind of relationship. Um, Technology causes us to make choices, or the fact that we don't make choices, technology makes choices for us, right? By kind of taking over our life. So if we don't police our own situation, suddenly, we're working for technology as opposed to technology working for us, you know. And
Yeah.
I do see people, as we all have, right? They take the phone into the meeting, and yes, you're not important. Let me check my email because, for God's sakes, I am important.
Yeah.
Into the bathroom. That's my favorite. Who in the hell are you talking to? Right?
They're scrolling through
Seriously,
Instagram.
you're that important. You can't take, that one just makes me crazy. So I think you have to make choices on how you're going to run your life.
You
And
do.
technology is a big part of that. And choices on technology, I think, is the key. And so we get the opportunity daily to see people use technology badly,
We do.
right? So,
Yeah.
so some people are good examples, and some people are, don't be like that, Claude. So how long have you been actively doing this? And here's where I'm going to go. It's kind of a multi-part. It's like, how long have you been actively doing this? And talk about the Lucy that started versus the Lucy today. What have you seen change?
Since 2020. It's not long at all, that I've been cognizant and I've kind of woken up to being more purposeful. So so in 2017 or 2018, I became a team lead here at Esri. And that's when I had my calendar wide open, anybody can schedule on there. And I was extremely stressed out. And my manager at the time, I would go to him and say, what, I have all these meetings. I'm not going to get anything done today. And I would feel just so overwhelmed. And I think that's kind of the sentiment that I had throughout most every job that I've ever held, was like always reacting, always reacting. And you just get better at reacting the more you react. But I didn't. So after I read that Think Like a Monk book, I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to slow down. I need to be more purposeful. I need to be more driven. And so at some point between like 2019, 2020, I started to block out that time on my calendar, which then helped me prioritize work. I would say that I'm not stressed out anymore, not as much. Like I get stressed out with deadlines, but I would say that the way that I'm compartmentalizing, at the end of the day, when I go home, I don't feel drained. I feel good. I feel refreshed. I feel like I have control over my day to day. I enjoy coming to work. I don't hate it. I used to hate coming in, not here, but in previous roles like that one I described to you, I hated going into work because I wasn't balanced. And I think that those subconscious things, like, why don't I like it here? Like, why you didn't like it? I was there all the time. So I would say that I take time to do an inventory. I'm not perfect at work-life balance by any means. And I don't fire at all pistons on all 4 of those boxes all day long. Sometimes I forget self-care because I got up too late and that was my self-care. Sometimes I'm packing my kids' lunch and I'm running out the door. It's something that I'm cognizant of, that I'm trying to always improve on. So by no means am I a subject matter expert. I am trying all of this. I'm trying to make it work and I feel better. And I would say that even listening to podcasts,
Sorry about that. I think we had someone take themselves off of mute. I did want to ask, my apologies for the, distraction there, but I'm going to let you go ahead and continue with your thought, and then we'll be putting up a poll for proof of attendance. So please go ahead, Lucy.
absolutely. I'm just more mindful. Like I said, I write down what I'm doing every day at work, and I make sure that the big stone conversations that need to happen at home are happening, whether it's about, finance, investments, savings, paying a bill, kids' activities. So kind of a couple years ago when my oldest daughter was in school, like I would not, and even my little one, there would be school activities that took place and they would take place on the day and I wouldn't know it until the day it happened because I wasn't paying attention. So it's like all these, yeah, because I had this going on. And then it's just like, life is crazy. I mean, it's so full of so many activities and tasks and things to keep track of that I didn't slow down to look at the school calendar, to ask Mia what she had going on, or to ask my oldest daughter, what she had going on. So I was reacting. Oh, we have this assembly on Monday for the little one. Are you going to be there? I can't be there. I have a meeting. So trying to take the time in advance to be prepared for those things when they happen. So I would say that I'm much better at that. Not perfect, but much better.
I think the best part is that you're not coming at this to us today as a subject matter holier than thou expert, just like us, Lucy, right? You're kind of giving it a go and doing the best you can. And I think the most important part is that you do the best you can. You catch yourself if you slip. You don't get discouraged. You just get back on it. You just keep going. You pick up from where you left off. And, every day is a new day and I'll be better today than I was yesterday type of thing. So I like you're real, Lucy. I like that. I appreciate that very, very much.
Thank you.
So what's the biggest success that you would point to?
The biggest success that I would point to as far as my work-life balance?
Yeah. That you've noticed. If you think that hard, Lucy, then it's kind of not happening.
No, it's definitely happening. And I think that the first thing that comes to my mind is I don't feel like I have to rush here to be here like right at 8 o'clock. My meetings don't start till 9. I used to feel so stressed out in the morning about like having to be here and get here on time. And sometimes I have to do that. I don't feel stressed out about slowing down to take more time with my daughter on a homework project. If I need to pivot away from, like, if I'm working from home, I can take 20 minutes out of my day to go do something and then come back to it. I felt like when we were working from home for a while, I felt like I had to stay at my desk the entire day. Like, I don't know if you've heard this, like you work more when you work from home. Like I was at my desk from like 8 a.m. to like just locked in, like I'm here, I'm ready to go. I feel okay walking away to take care of things. I feel okay taking time off. I don't even think twice. I turn my out of office email on, have a great day. Okay, boss, you got this part. Okay, everyone, I'll see you later. And my phone goes off on vacation. I don't even peek. I'm done. I'm off. Don't contact me unless something's burning. So I would say that I used to walk away like checking my email and worrying what was going on, but not anymore.
Now you're able to just walk away.
Yep.
That's okay. That's so good because I am a big offender there. Like the days that I work remotely, well, even sometimes on the weekends, but the days I work remotely, I will zoom through my day and all of a sudden it's like 3:30 and I'm like, I did not take a lunch today. What just happened? How did that happen? I should probably not say that because my boss is here, but
okay, so taking breaks is very important. Okay, so that's still something I'm working on. I eat my lunch while I check my email because I do still have a fair amount of meetings. But today I walked over to the Esri Cafe. I got lunch. I ate lunch at my desk. I didn't look at my computer and I talked to a colleague and I had lunch. It was so nice. So I'm still trying to do those things. I would say that that's a behavior that I'm in the process. I eat while I check my email.
Totally hear that.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Any other questions from the gallery? Anybody? Liza, do you have a question? You turned on your camera, so you must be anxious to say something. I don't know. I'm just guessing.
No, it's very interesting. I'm also guilty. I don't take breaks. I don't take lunch. And sometimes I don't even notice how the day ended. And I feel like I'm burned out.
Yeah. I've had those feelings.
So the question in the chat here, Lucy, about can you elaborate more on saying no? Well, one syllable, two letters, no. Practice with me now. No. And you have to do it with a straight face too. You can't have that contentious look. You have to just put on. So how is that? Explain on that. Give us some more background.
Absolutely. I think so. The first thing that comes to my mind, are you still hearing me?
Yes.
Okay, good. I was like, wait, did I press something? So the first thing that comes to my mind, because I think that it's not a matter of saying no or saying something, it's a matter of how you say something, right? So there's that to be mindful of. So if my boss says, Lucy, I need this report by close of business today, and it's now, I would say, okay. Can you tell me when you act, like, do you need it now? Or like, do you need it for Monday at 10 or 11? Like, when do you need to send, like, who do you need to send this to? Where do you need to send it? And then I would find that out. And I would say, okay, well, I have plans right now. I'd be happy to do this. I just don't have time right now. Is it okay if I get this done for you on Monday? So I can still do the work. I'm just saying no to your urgent request right now because I personally, I need to go get my daughter. I need to go to this thing that I have going on. And I think that's where I've grown. In the past, I would have said yes to that and I would have stayed really late. There's moments when I do have to say yes. It's when it's the 11th hour or the 12th hour at night and there's a customer order that needs to get processed and I just need to stay and do it. Customers come first. So we need to make sure we take care of those things. But if it's like a project, I think it really just depends on what's being asked of you and how you answer.
Mm-hmm. Now, I don't know if it's really so much as saying no as it is scheduling, rescheduling, fitting it into your schedule. And yes, I'm saying no to your request for now. Damn it!
Mm-hmm.
And then that's what I teach. I said you have to consider that virtual. And you can pick you could find an exception, I'm sure, but almost no request or question needs an answer or response right now. The person responding it is transfer an emergency. Lucy, I need this right now. Well, you really don't.
No,
So it's a matter of taking the conversation and saying, hey, I'm happy to help, but let's help this work into my schedule too.
Yes.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
Which I think freaks people out because they're really not expecting you to do that.
No, and then if it does need to be done right now, you know what? I can't do it, but if you actually need this now, let me ping the other people on the team to see if anybody's willing to stay late. Or like there's like the compromise. Yeah.
I ask, are you asking me because you're incompetent and you can't do it? Or
I wouldn't say that.
Okay, let's don't say that. Okay, all right, maybe we don't do that one. Okay. What else do I want to know from Lucy? I made notes all over the place. I guess I have to go back and practice some of these things.
Yeah, I still have to practice them myself and get better at them.
It seems like it's definitely a work in progress, and I really appreciate the references that you shared with us. You know, just some place to start if this is something that's maybe new for some of us, or we're definitely aware, but we're just not sure where to start. So it's always nice to have those references. I also love Mel Robbins. She's fantastic.
Yes.
I follow her and she has such great advice. So she's a really good one for me too.
Yeah, I think she's a little cranky sometimes. I'm not sure if I'm just saying. So you mentioned getting out into nature, but what folks may not know about your campus, if they've not had the chance to visit it.
Yes.
If you're on campus, you don't have to work very hard to get out into nature, figuratively speaking, because your campus is like a park. You want to talk about the Esri campus in Redlands?
We do, yes. I was gonna find there's something about the campus. I'll send it to you to share with everyone. But the way that the campus is designed is that I'm probably gonna say this wrong, but Jack Dangerman, the CEO owner of Esri, was a landscape architect before opening Esri for ArcGIS software. And so you can clearly see that because the buildings are surrounded in tree line and boulders and rocks, and everything's just beautiful. I remember coming here to interview and I was like, wow, like from the freeway, you can't even see this place. Like if you're going down the freeway, you can see the trees and you know where we're located, but we're covered. So the way that he designs buildings when they're being built here is that nature is all around it. The building that I'm in, Ernie, you came to this building that I'm currently in. There's
I
like
had to be led in by an escort because I couldn't find it on my own. Molly was with me. Remember that, Molly?
Yes, that was awesome.
Molly, but have you noticed that we haven't been invited back?
Oh, come back.
Have you noticed that?
Putting her on the spot there, boss. Oh, it was wonderful to meet you, and your campus is just absolutely beautiful. Yeah, it was really nice to visit your campus. I can imagine stepping away for breaks would actually be very refreshing because you're surrounded by so much natural beauty.
It is, but there's an atrium in our building. So like our building is built around this, like there's trees and a pond. So if I walked out to the break room and I looked down, there's glass all around looking down into this atrium. It's beautiful. So I have beautiful lush green all around me.
Yeah, but you do have to leave your desk though, right?
I do,
and even at Cal State, our campus is quite nice to wander around.
It really is.
I don't get lost anymore, nor do I need a GPS tracker clipped to my collar when I leave. But it is quite nice to just go out, be outside and see the sights and hear the sounds. And I think that a 10, 15, 20-minute walk definitely clears your head and helps you get straightened back up. And you have to kind of force yourself to do it perhaps, because we always think we just have one more thing. And we're not as effective as we need to be.
Put it on your calendar. If you put a 15-minute block on your calendar to say, go for a walk, connect with nature, like do whatever you need to do to get there. I typically do it first thing in the morning. I walk around where I live because we have a really nice like little park area. And so I do 10 or 15 minutes, just walk around the block, walk through the park area. So that fits best in for me because then getting here, it's not always going to happen. And it's really hot. I don't like how hot it is.
Yeah, if you have an iWatch, will tell you to get up once an hour too. Get up.
And you know what? My cousin was actually telling me that if you get up and go out for a 10-minute walk, that's actually 1,000 steps. And so you can actually get some mileage in as well if you're really trying to increase your health that way.
Lucy, how do you suggest people get started? What's the simplest thing that someone might do to say, hey, this sounds kind of fun, but how do I get started?
That's a good question. I would say they just have to start somewhere. It could be something simple as the time blocking on their calendar. It could even just be them incorporating 15 minutes of a brisk walk or a connect with nature in the morning and then build upon it. Because saying no, like we were talking about, it's hard. It's like a crucial conversation almost to be able to dig through those conversations. So you may need to go equip yourself in some other areas and skill sets to do some of those other things, but start somewhere simple, somewhere that's going to make an impact quickly, so that you do the rest of the things. Because I think with anything, we're behavioral creatures and we get stuck into the process of doing our things. If you make something for yourself and you see the benefit and reap the rewards, for me, it was my calendar. That's where I started. And then after that, it was thinking about like my life and how I was running my house and my children. And like, it just kind of went from there. And like, I think another thing too is I'm kind of going all over the place because I'm excited. But the other thing is, because it's how I talk, I'm like this. The other thing too is think about yourself today. Like this is me talking like maybe Mel Robbins status. Who are you today and who do you want yourself to be? Talk to yourself as your future version of you. So the version of Lucy that I want to be and that I see myself is someone who is health conscious, who is, I have a good mindset. I make sure that I'm mindful about things, that I'm planning things. And that may not be the Lucy today, but that's where I want to go. And the more you tell yourself that story over and over again, you start to live those things. You start to do those things and seek support, whether it's listening to a podcast, reading a book, or talking to a mentor. You can't do this alone. Like, I needed tools to get here. And luckily the podcast and the books worked for me. And it's something that I constantly turn on and off. Like in the morning, I have a podcast in my ear, or I'm reading a book. It's not one and done. And it's going to be something that I have to continually nurture throughout the rest of my life.
Yeah. Yeah. Your comments made me think of the book, and now that I'm going to tell you about the book, I can't remember the name of the book. Damn it! I hate when I do that. Oh shoot! All right, never mind, Lucy. Just never damn mind. I can't remember. Atomic Habits. That's it. Atomic Habits.
Oh,
Yeah,
Atomic Habits. Oh,
Yeah,
I've heard
and-
of that.
and-
I haven't read it though. Yeah.
Yeah, in that book, it's about creating new habits. And like Lucy said, think about the person you're going to be as if you were. And how would that person behave and what would that person do? And since I'm like this, whatever that is, this is how I behave, and start doing that.
Yeah.
Right. So,
I remember reading that you only need enough willpower to get you through the first 60 days of creating a habit. And then once it's a habit, then it's more of a routine, and then it's just part of your life, and it doesn't require as much discipline, as much focus, as much energy. So yeah, that definitely that helps me when I think about wanting to create something in my life. It's like, okay, I just need enough to get it into a habit.
Robin Sharma talks about that in his 5 a.m. Club book. And I wanted to attribute also the reason I feel like where I started and it's easy is Mel Robbins has been a huge influence in what I do. So the 5-second rule is super helpful. I do that in the morning. I'm like, get out of bed, Lucy. I'm like, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And
I do that too. I do that too. It helps. You just do it. Just do it.
Today I just did it. I was like, okay, and we're snoozing. So that helps. And then just listening to her helps me too, because she's like, no one's coming to save you. No one's coming to tell you to get up and go. No one's telling you to go for that job that you want to go for. So like, you just have to do the thing. Also too, the high five habit. So like self-love is really important through all of this, because you need to like take care of yourself. We need to take care of ourselves, and taking care of ourselves means turning things off and doing the things that we enjoy. And I think until we have that, this isn't going to be perfect or work as well. And we're going to still feel it. Like, you have to break those things down. There's a little bit of that in there too.
yeah, and that's an excellent segue to our exit, Lucy, because Molly is telling me that she needs to turn us off now.
Yeah.
So.
It is time. It's time. I feel like we could go on and on though. Fascinating topic. Thank you so much for everything you shared with us, Lucy. And thank you to everyone who joined us today for Lucy's work-life balance presentation. We really appreciate it. So we are going to go ahead and end this career path series today with Miss Lucy Castro, and give you back your weekend. And thank you, Ernie, for popping in with all of your excellent questions as usual. And so we hope you all have a wonderful weekend. Thank you again, Lucy.
Thank you so much for having me. Have a great weekend.
Absolutely. Take care.